Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Adi Shankaracharya is an Advaitist, Jnana Margi. So why has he devoted so much depth into the worship of a anthropomorphic form of the finite, of the infinite? See, when we say that the anthropomorphic form, what does it mean? Basically, if you look at how our manas works, if I ask you to close your eyes and imagine something which is formless, attributeless, no qualities, and yet it is there, then it is impossible for you to think of something like this. Neither your intellect nor your manas can even conceptualize or imagine these things. Conceptualize from the buddhi or imagine from the manas. Since that is not possible, the manas behaves in a very concrete manner. The manas, very interestingly, continuously is in action. It is never inactive. Excepting in deep sleep, it is never inactive. Hence, Raman Maharshi keeps saying, when you chase the thought of who is thinking, then it goes and settles down and extinguishes. So, extinguishing of the manas is the aim of how we work towards the achieving peace, achieving tranquility. Because it is like an ocean, continuously there are waves rising, continuously there are waves rising, and no wave is in stillness, continuous motion. But the action of the manas is, and another very important thing, oh, I'm thinking of so many things. You are not thinking of so many things. You can only think of one thing at a time. That one thing maybe for a microsecond, next thing for another microsecond. So you feel that you are actually thinking of, oh, my son is going to school, my wife is supposed to come back from office, my in-law is coughing a lot, I am feeling hungry. All of these are following each other so quickly that you are yourself confused that they are all things happening simultaneously. But that is not true. They are only one thought at a time. Now, each of these thoughts is continuously happening. The allegory that is used here is like a caterpillar. If you see a caterpillar, when it is moving, it eats up parts of a leaf, then it will move to the next leaf. How does it move to the next leaf? First, it catches the next leaf, then releases the old leaf, and it jumps across. The manas behaves exactly like that. It catches one thought, leaves this thought, catches another thought, leaves this thought. So can I catch hold of a thought which is something bigger than me, something greater than me? See, I am a small wave. All the waves around me are on the ocean. And the ocean itself is a part of something abstract called H2O. Now, H2O is something beyond me at this point of time, but at least I know that I am arising from the ocean, I am falling back into the ocean. And this ocean is greater than me. I merge back into this ocean. Hence, I rise from Ishvara, Jagadishwari, and I merge back into Jagadishwari. But I am never Jagadishwari. But she and I were made of the same component called H2O, Brahman. Now, if this is an understanding that we have, at least intellectually, then we can very clearly understand that Adi Shankaracharya, who for him, that formless, attributeless consciousness that existed in the form of bliss, Sat Chit Ananda, which was a living experience for him, he could very, very out of his own complete compassion, alayam karunalayam, in the stotra we say, right? So in out of his complete compassion for people like you and I, he therefore created this anthropomorphic form. So in the Sri Vidya, there is the Sthula Rupa of Devi. And the Sthula Rupa of Devi is the form in which she arises in the Lalita Sahasranama. We have seen she is arising from the Chiragni Kundam with her hair, first the Chandrama, then the hair, then the three eyes, then the red color, then the Pasha, the Ankusha, the flowers, the flower arrows, the Ikshu Chapa, all of that one by one, her red clothes, her feet ornamented. In the middle part, we have seen that she suddenly transforms into the Srinagar, which is the Sri Chakra, the 9 Avaranas. And then she moves on to become the Mantra Swarupa, right? The Vagakuta, Madhyakuta, the Shakti Kuta, all the Kutas. She is the Mantra also. At the Mantra form, she is now the closest because it is sound. Right? Space is allegories to, see, if I say what is space, oh, it is formless, it is attributeless. However, it still occupies something. So it is not immaterial, it is part of matter. But it is the nearest approximation. And what is it that creates space? Sound creates space. The Tanmatra is sound. They are too closely associated. So when I go to that nearest approximation, I am coming to sound. That is the Sukshma form. So it is that growth from the Sthula form to the Sukshma form. Hence, out of his complete compassion, he created this Soundarya Lahari to where he was visualizing the manifestation of the Jagadishwari, the ocean, in a specific form. And if you notice, in the first stanza, he spoke of the general concept of what is Shakti. He generally spoke of the concept of what is Shakti. Then in the second, he starts with talking about the feet. In the second stanza, he talked about the dust of the feet. He didn't even talk about the feet. He spoke about the dust of the feet. Then in the third chapter, he moves on. He's still at the feet. He has not even gone beyond the feet and look at the glory that he is describing. Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shakta Prabhavitum Na Chedevam Devo Na Khalu Kushala Spanditum Api Atastvam Aradhyam Harihara Virinchadibhirapi Ranantum Stotum Va Kathamakrita Punya Prabhavati. So he says Shiva becomes able to do any creation, to even that vibration of creation, can only happen when Shakti decides. So without her, he cannot even do that vibration. Spandam, not even spanditum api. He cannot, he says, khalu kushala spanditum api. So, no, not a single spandanam, not a single vibration can be possible from him. Then he moves on in the second stanza. Taniyam sambamsum tavacharana panke ruhabhavam virincha sanchinvan virachayati lokanavikalam vahatyenam shauri katamapi sahasrena shirasam harasam kshudyenam bhajati bhasito dhullan vidhima. So, the great Adishesha, Shauri, he bears this entire universe with the power from one speck of dust. The universe got created by Virinchi, by Brahma, by that one speck of dust. And that complete bhasma that is put around the Shiva, that smears himself with that bhasma, is from that one speck of dust from your feet. Next, in stanza 3, let us do that stanza. We will do it word by word first, and then line by line, and then we will look at the meanings. Avidyanamanta stimira. So actually it is a sandhi. Avidyanamanta stimira. Avidyanamanta stimira. Mihira dvipa nagari. Mihira dvipa nagari. Avidyanamanta stimira mihira dvipa nagari. Jadanam Chaitanya Stabaka Makaranda Shrutijhari. It is Shrutijhari. Jadanam Chaitanya Stabaka Makaranda Shrutijhari. Avidyanamantastimiramihira-dvipa-nagari. Jadanam Chaitanya-stabaka-makaranda Shrutijhari. Daridranam Chintamani-gunanika Janma Jaladhau Daridranam Chintamani gunanika janma jaladhau. Nimagnanam damshtra. Nimagnanam damshtra. Muraripu varahasya bhavati. Nimagnanam damshtra muraripu varahasya bhavati. Daridranam chintamani gunanika janma jaladhau. Nimagnanam damshtra muraripu varahasya bhavati. Avidyanam antastimira-mihira-dvipa nagari. Jadanam chaitanya-stabaka-makaranda Shrutijhari. Daridranam chintamani gunanika janma jaladhau. Nimagnanam damshtra muraripu varahasya bhavati. Beautiful sloka. All the shlokas are very beautiful. So, avidyanam anta. Avidyanam. So, the ending of ignorance. Avidyanam anta. How will ignorance end? Ignorance is contiguous to darkness. Right? The darkness of ignorance. Poets always talk about ignorance being in darkness. He was steeped in the darkness of ignorance. Right? So the poets will write like things like that. So avidyanamanta timira. Timira is the deep darkness. Timira is the deepest darkness of the darkest night. Right? We light lamps on those nights. Right? Deepavali supposed to be the darkest night. Right, because it is nearing the winter solstice, the sun will have vanished. There is the moon has also not there. So the night is long because already you are in the Dakshinayan period. So what do? You dispel that with lamps across the entire house and pray that the night should not be dangerous to us. So in the Vedas there is this sukta called Nidra Suktam. So in the Nidra Suktam, the Devi is worshipped as Nidra, and in that very beautiful description that in the night when the wolves come closer to protect me, O mother. We were an agricultural community at that point of time, but even then, even though they are agriculturists, their thinking is so much beyond the agriculture. They are looking at, and then they are symbolizing immediately. Those wolves are the dreams that come at night, which are taking my consciousness away from you. Similarly here, that origin of the avidya, the layers of ignorance that have covered the real self, that of my knowledge, See, in the Advaita tradition, we do not say you have to realize. Actually, for that matter, I use this as a joke. I always say you have to unrealize. You see, what we think as real is actually not real. When we start thinking that they are real is where there is a problem. So you unrealize. You unrealize the fact that I am not the body. I am not the mind. What are you doing? You are unrealizing. You are not realizing. You are unrealizing. You are removing layers. You're removing layers. So the avidya can be removed by a single lamp of knowledge. Here she says that mihira means sun. Mihira means sun. Some commentator has actually said mihira is all the 12 suns put together, right? All the 12 suns. So there are 12 adityas, as it is called. So all the 12 suns put together is called mihira. Mihira Dvipa Nagari. So the sun will rise from where your feet are, which is where you stand, the Dvipa, there's island. The Nagari, which is situated on the island. We call it in Sri Vidya, the place where she lives is called Manidvipa. We have seen that in Lalita Sahasranama, right? She lives in Srinagar, not Srinagar of Kashmir or nor Srinagar of Uttarakhand. Srinagar, the actual place where she resides, with the fortress made of all the multiple gems and so on and so forth, in the form of the Sri Chakra. She resides in the form of Bindu. That is called the Srinagar. And that is the source of 12 suns rising at the same time. One lamp is enough to remove all the darkness of ignorance. And here is her feet giving rise to 12 suns. They jump up, literally. And what happens to the avidya? Anta. Avidya, anta ho gaya. Right? The next, Jadanam Chaitanya Stabaka Makaranda Shruti Jhari. Jada means the persons who are lazy, who are tamasic, who are all, they refuse to move, right? Their movement will happen only when there is a strong attraction for something that will happen. So what does she do? She creates a beautiful stabaka. Stabaka is a bouquet of flowers. So the bouquet of flowers in her hand, you remember in the Lalita iconography, we have seen that she holds the bouquet of 5 flowers, right? The 5, because she is Kameshwari, all the 5 flowers that Kamadev also holds, she also holds the 5 flowers. So in those 5 flowers that she is holding, from there, the Shruti Jhari, there is a nectar which is continuously flowing, and the Jada becomes like a bee attracted to that nectar. Makaranda. Makaranda is a bee. So the Makaranda goes to the nectar. So she offers this knowledge of immortality in such a sweet form. See, Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to say, when I look at these sannyasis, oh mother, please don't make me like them. They are also dry. They have no rasa in them. Please don't make me like them. So the vidya, or rather in the jnana, is not a rasa. It is rasa vihina, right? Whereas bhakti is the rasa. Here is the beauty of Bhagawan Shankaracharya, where he takes the rasa of bhakti and puts it into jnana. And jnana and bhakti together, the jada, who is completely ignorant, who refuses to move, suddenly smells this beautiful nectar flowing from her hand, the flowers in her hand, and he rushes. Shruti Jhari, he feels that he rushes towards it. So it's like the honey and that vital action that happens, we rush there. Then, next one she says, Daridranam Chintamani Gunanika Janma Jaladhau. So, for the slow-witted person, Daridranam person who has less of everything, who is in Daridram, he is feeling that I have less of everything. That means he is limited. His consciousness is completely surrounded by the limitations of understanding of that I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect, I am this name, I am that name, I am this qualification, I am that qualification, I own this, I have this, etc., etc., etc. This such a person is called Daridra. A person who has not crossed the body, mind, intellect limitation is a Daridra by Shankaracharya's definition. So he says, for such a Daridra, you are who is trapped in the Janma Jaladhau, in the samsara of in the sagar of birth. Jaladhau means sagar, ocean. Janma means birth. In this ocean of birth, birth means automatically, death is automatic to anybody who is birth, right? Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityu. In Bhagavad Gita we say that. So that which is born will always die. So here by mentioning Janma, we know that he is mentioning death also. So somebody who is trapped in that cycle of Janma Jaladhau, for such a person, now there are two interpretations. Janma Jaladhau is for the next line. Janma Jaladhau Nimagnanam. That could be another way of looking at it. Either way, for Daridranam Chintamani Gunanika. For those who are Daridram, you are the wish-fulfilling garland, like a rosary of wish-fulfilling gems. What is Chintamani? Chintamani was a gem which arose during the Samudra Manthan, and it is kept with Indra. And anybody who does upasana to Chintamani, he gets whatever he wants. So there were three things that came out which were wish-fulfilling. Kalpataru, which is anything that you have kalpana, which means you need to imagine, and the tree will give birth to it. Then Chintamani, anything that you can think of. Anything that you can think of. So imagine and think, slight differences. Anything that you can think of, that Chintamani will give you. And Kamadhenu, anything that you desire, Kamadhenu will give you. These three came from the Samudra Manthan. Kamadhenu was given to the rishis. Kalpataru was given to the gardens of Indraloka. And Chintamani was reserved by Indra for himself. Right? Where did the Chintamani come from? Devi owns a garland of Chintamani's. For what? You had to do so much of Samudra Manthan, wrote a big story. You got Asuras on one side, you got Devas on the other side, you did hui, hui, hui. You then had created so much of hoo-ha around it. All of that, what happened? For one Chintamani, one of the things that came out, I own a garland of it. That is what Devi is saying. What is Shankaracharya saying? That she is the garland of Chintamani. So not only one wish, but any wishes of the Daridranam. So all the limitations get dissolved when we go to her. And then if you look at the other interpretation for the last line, Janma Jaladhau Nimagnanam, he who is immersed in this ocean, Nimagnanam, immersed in this ocean of birth. Immersed in this ocean of birth, which means he is trapped in this cycle of birth and death continuously. Damshtra, teeth. Mura Ripu. Mura is a Asura who was killed by, so who do we call Murari? Krishna, right? Murari. Murari. So Hare Murari, Tripurantakari, we have this bhajan and all that, right? So Murari. So here Mura Ripu. Ripu means enemy. Enemy of Mura, Krishna or Vishnu. Varahasya. So teeth of Varaha. What did the teeth of Varaha do? They raised the earth from the ocean. So see the poetic beauty of that. We have the ocean. Hiranyaksha has submerged the ocean, the earth into this ocean of samsara, right? Into the ocean. What does this mean? Does he physically take the earth and put it inside? No. It is that because of Hiranyaksha, people all got immersed in body, mind, intellect entrapment. So they got immersed in worldly living. And what does Vishnu do in the form of Varaha? He uplifts them. So like the teeth of Varaha uplifted the earth, in some same manner, you do that for those who are immersed in the samsara, trapped in birth and death. So in the first, stanza, we see her cosmic level actions. In the second, we see her powers coming from the speck of dust, so her immensity of power. In the third, we see how she interacts with us, her interaction with us. If I am trapped in avidya, I am a jnana margi, I am trapped in avidya, she is there in the first line. If I am lazy, I am not able to move, then through the, so this is a beautiful story. Satya Sai Baba was sitting and distributing they used to call it private, I think. So you see, he would indicate, and his assistants would come and say, you can go and sit inside in the small room. And then after the public darshan is over, he would go inside and he would give darshan to such people. And he would sit on the chair and people would line up one by one and they would talk to him or he would talk to them. Sometimes he would manifest some articles or vibhuti or something and they would go. And there was a devotee who was sitting at the back, and he was sitting to the back of Satya Sai Baba and watching Satya Sai Baba from an angle. So he's seeing that a lot of people are coming and Baba is doing something. He is giving somebody a watch, somebody a ring, somebody a necklace, somebody some bhasma. And this chap, he thought, why don't I get something? I've been sitting here for so long. And Baba turned and looked at him and he told him, for a ant which is already trapped in honey, which has already tasted honey, nothing more is required. So why is the honey required? The honey is required to attract the jadanam stabakam. Right? So for the jadanam, for those who are jada, chaitanya stabaka, not ordinary stabaka. It is a stabaka of chaitanya. It is a bouquet which is giving the shruti jhari. It is showering the nectar of chaitanyam, of awakening, of knowledge. So for them, such miracles, such material benefits are also available. Daridranam chintamani gunanika. And janma jaladho nimagnanam damshtra muraripu varahasya bhavati. You, oh mother, you become the Varaha. Now Varaha, we know the story that Hiranyaksha came, and then Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu came, and then they were actually supposed to be Jaya and Vijay of the Dwarapalas of Vaikuntha. They took the forms of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. For killing Hiranyaksha, he came in the form of Varaha, and in the Varaha form, he lifted the earth, which basically means he uplifted the people and gave them the awakening of from worldly living. Next, he comes in the form of Hiranyakashipu, and then he saves Prahlad, and so on and so forth. So this is the third verse. Now we move to the shloka that we have to study from the Rajarajeshwari Stotra. So if you look at the Rajarajeshwari Stotra, then we are to do the fifth, if I'm not mistaken. Ambashuladhanu kushankushadhari ardendu bimbadhari. Ambashuladhanu kushankushadhari ardendu bimbadhari. Varahi madhukaitava prashamani vani rama sevita. Varahi madhukaitava prashamani vani rama sevita. Malladhyasura mukha daityadamani maheshwari chambika. Malladhyasura mukha daityamathani maheshwari chambika. Chitrupi paradevata bhagavati Sri Rajarajeshwari. Ambashuladhanukushankushadhari ardhendu bimbadhari. Varahi madhukaitava prashamani vani rama sevita. Malladhyasura mukha daityamathani maheshwari chambika. Chidrupi Paradevata Bhagavati Sri Raja Rajeshwari. Amba, we know. Shula. Shula means spear. Trishula, three-headed spear. Shula, Dhanu, bow. Kushankusha. So here we are seeing her to be holding the Ankusha, which is the goad. Now, why does she require a goad? She requires a goad because she is prodding us like an elephant. You know, our brains are sometimes like an elephant. We are completely, all the time, we needed to be prodded to go into some direction. So in that prodding, she is holding a goad in her hands. Kushankushadhari, Ardhendu Bimbadhari. She holds the crescent moon on her forehead. Varahi, she is also called Varahi. Madhukaitava Prashamani. Now this is an interesting story. How did she kill Madhukaitava? Madhukaitava was actually killed by Vishnu. Madhusudana, we know him as Madhusudana. Madhukaitava Prashamani. So we'll get to that story. Vani Rama Sevita. On one side there is Vani, which is Saraswati. The other side there is Rama, which is Lakshmi. So in some iconography, we would have seen that Lalita is sitting on the throne and you have Lakshmi and Saraswati doing the Chamara on both sides. That is Vani Rama Sevita. Malladhyasura Mukadaityadamani. So Asura called Malla and the Asura who called Muka. Such Asuras you have destroyed. Muka and Malla. You have Damani, you have destroyed. Maheshwari, very simple. Ambika, mother. Chidrupi Paradevata Bhagavati, Sri Raja Rajeshwari. Madhukaitava Prashamani. How did she become Madhukaitava Prashamani? See, Madhu and Kaitava were born out of the dirt in the ears of Vishnu. Brahma was born from the navel, the lotus in the navel of Vishnu. Now, Brahma was doing meditation to find out what is his role in life. And these were born out of the dirt in the ears. We will get to the symbolic meanings much later, not right now. Now, so Madhu and Kaitava looked around and said they could not see anything. They see only a large body lying there and they are seeing some stem going up and they realize that there is somebody over there. So then they say, let me kill this person. Let us eat this person. So Brahma got scared and he tried to wake up Vishnu. But Vishnu refused to wake up because he was entrapped by Devi Yoganidra. So in the Chandi, if you read the Saptashati, the first stuti is by Brahma praising Yoganidra Devi to remove herself from the body of Vishnu so that Vishnu can awake. So Vishnu awakens, pleased with the praises of Brahma. Yoganidra removes herself and Vishnu awakens. Having awakened, he starts battling with Madhu and Kaitava. The battle keeps on going on and on and on and on. Vishnu gets tired because first Madhu comes and fights. When Madhu gets tired, he goes away. Kaitava comes and fights. But Vishnu has to continuously fight. So he gets very tired. So now he says, how do I get out of this? So then he prayed to Devi and said, please help, do something. So now Devi appears to both of these, Madhu and Kaitava, and she says, you are very great. You are great fighters. You are fighting with Vishnu himself and you are fighting for such a long time and you have not been killed by him. So I think you should go and give him a Vardhan. See, while she is also Mokshada, she is also Mohini. She can delude. So she acted on the pride of Madhu and Kaitava. And Madhu and Kaitava feel, yes, we are greater than him. We should give him a Vardhan. So they went to Vishnu and said, we are pleased with your fighting. You accept a boon from us. So then Vishnu said, okay, so Devi has already deluded them. So he says, I wish that both of you will be killed by my hands. You should surrender your bodies to me. So now they realize they are trapped. So then they say, okay, fine, but you can only kill us when in a place where there is no sea or there is no land. So Vishnu says, okay, no problem. He expands himself. Vishnu, the word means he who has expanded, who has pervaded. So he expands himself, takes Madhu and Kaitab on his lap and cuts their heads off. So Madhu and Kaitab could not have been killed unless Devi acted twice. First, as Yoganidra removing herself from Vishnu so that Vishnu can awake and this entire Srishti can happen. And also by deluding Madhu and Kaitab so that they could go and get killed by the hands of Vishnu. Hence, she is Madhu Kaitaba Prashamani. So that is the chapter for today. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.